Welcome back. In part 1, we looked at the 7 most common claims made by moon landing skeptics. Now it's time to test each one against the available evidence. Importantly, this evidence doesn't rely solely on trusting NASA. It comes from photography, physics, engineering, independent scientists, and even America's biggest rival during the Cold War. Let's examine the evidence. Here are 7 facts that challenge the most common moon landing claims. The flag moved because astronauts twisted the pole. The flagpole included a horizontal support rod to keep the flag extended in the airless environment of the moon. As astronauts twisted the pole into the ground, that motion traveled through the fabric. With no air resistance to dampen its motion, the flag continued to oscillate briefly before coming to a complete stop, exactly as the Apollo footage shows. Every movement is consistent with physical handling rather than wind. Camera exposure explains the missing stars. The lunar surface was brilliantly illuminated by direct sunlight. Cameras were exposed for the bright surface and astronauts, not the faint stars behind them. Exactly the same thing happens on Earth when you photograph someone in bright daylight. The stars simply don't register. It's a straightforward consequence of camera exposure, not evidence of a studio set. Uneven terrain explains the shadow angles. The moon is far from flat. Craters, slopes, and uneven ground distort how shadows appear when viewed in two-dimensional photographs. Even with a single light source, shadows can appear to point in different directions depending on perspective and terrain. This effect has been recreated repeatedly by photographers using just one light source. Apollo passed safely through the Van Allen belts. The Van Allen radiation belts are absolutely real. Apollo mission planners deliberately chose flight paths that passed through the less intense regions and moved through them quickly, limiting radiation exposure. Measurements taken during the missions confirmed that the astronauts received doses well within accepted safety limits. Careful mission planning, not luck, explains their safe return. The lunar module was never expected to create a huge crater. By the final moments of landing, the descent engine had been throttled back dramatically. In the moon's vacuum, exhaust gases spread outward rather than forcing straight downward, as they often appear to on Earth. Engineers predicted only minimal disturbance beneath the lander, exactly matching what Apollo photographs reveal. The famous C rock exists only on a copy. The supposed letter C does not appear on NASA's original archived photograph. It only appears on certain reproduced copies. Experts examining the original image concluded that the mark was almost certainly caused by a fiber or hair introduced during photographic processing or printing. The original negative remains available for anyone to examine. The evidence goes far beyond Stanley Kubrick. Part 1 ended with perhaps the most famous claim, that Stanley Kubrick secretly filmed the moon landing. Although 2001, A Space Odyssey demonstrated Kubrick's remarkable filmmaking abilities, the conspiracy quickly runs into serious problems. Kubrick's family and closest collaborators consistently denied any involvement, and the idea gained much of its popularity after a 2002 satirical mockumentary that many viewers mistakenly believed was genuine. More importantly, the moon missions weren't verified only by NASA. The Soviet Union, America's greatest Cold War rival, independently tracked Apollo missions with its own radar systems. If the landings had been faked, exposing them would have been an enormous political victory. Instead, the Soviet Union never challenged the missions. Scientists also continue to bounce lasers off retroreflectors placed on the moon by Apollo astronauts more than 50 years ago. Those reflectors are still functioning today and remain one of the strongest pieces of independently verifiable evidence that humans really did reach the lunar surface. So there you have it, 7 facts that challenge the most common moon landing claims. Whether you're convinced or still have questions, one thing is certain. The discussion is far more interesting when both the claims and the evidence are examined together. Which point do you think is the strongest? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and as always, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring. Hit subscribe and help this channel grow. We publish new lists regularly. If there is a particular subject you'd like covered, let us know in the comments below.